In this comparative study, I will explore how drama films depict rebellion against cultural norms by comparing David Fincher's Fight Club with Mike Nichols' The Graduate. I chose these two films because they convey similar themes that reflect the cultural context of the time period through different methods. Both characters feel purposeless in their respective societies. The Graduate shows Benjamin Braddock, a recently graduated college student who chooses to go against the societal standards of middle-class society at the time, mirroring the counterculture movement of the 1960s, while Fight Club centers on an unnamed narrator who rejects the consumerist culture of 1990s America. These films convey their dramatic themes using specific music and sound design, cinematography, editing, and symbolism. With respect to symbolism, both films have a character who embodies the core theme of personal rebellion against societal norms. For the narrator in Fight Club, it's Tyler Durden. The narrator meets Tyler on a flight during one of his long, mundane work trips for his employer, a car insurance company. After introducing himself, they become friends and eventually start a fight club together. Tyler brings the narrator into his rebellion, and dissatisfaction with consumerism heavily influences the narrator.
Things you own end up owning you.
The character is a symbol for how other people can lead us into rebellion. Tyler becomes more and more powerful throughout the film when he starts Project Mayhem, a system designed to cause chaos and hurt large companies. A character that accompanies a similar symbolic role in The Graduate is Miss Robinson. She meets with Ben after the dinner scene at the beginning of the film and asks him to give her a ride home. She ends up trying to seduce him, and while Benjamin escapes her first attempt, he eventually comes back and sleeps with her. She represents an escape from Benjamin's parents and the societal pressure to follow a traditional career path. Benjamin has a halting feeling that life is like a game of red light, green light, wherein any move you could make could send you back to the start, Eliza King Friedman. And he connects with Miss Robinson in order to get away from his sense of powerlessness. Miss Robinson's effect on Benjamin is made clear from the motif of water in the film. Prior to engaging with her, Benjamin is often framed with or underwater. But after he meets Miss Robinson, he is shown floating above the pool, symbolizing how his act of rebellion provides him a feeling of control over his life. While in Fight Club the action that represents the narrator's rebellion is fighting, in The Graduate, Benjamin's rebellion is conveyed through an affair with an older woman. Both characters take part in an action that is not socially acceptable for the time period, and these actions are symbolic of rebellion. Both films also use cinematography to convey their characters' emotional state and give context to their decisions. The opening shot of The Graduate shows Benjamin sitting on an airplane. As the camera slowly zooms out, the framing reveals how alone Benjamin feels in the world he is landing into after college. The opening credits are shown while Benjamin stands on a moving walkway, going right to left, which shows how Benjamin feels he is going backwards instead of forwards in his life. At the dinner scene, the camera is handheld and stays up close with Benjamin for the entirety of the scene, while his parents' friends ask him about his future. This gives the audience the same feeling of uncomfortability the character is experiencing, and makes us want to escape along with him. These cinematographic choices reflect the isolation and loneliness of the character, and how he feels lost and uncomfortable in his situation. The cinematography in the opening of Fight Club similarly conveys a sense of the main character's societal isolation. The film's opening credits show the inside of a brain, with a swirling viewpoint showing the nerves and electricity firing inside the mind before zooming out of the brain onto the character's face. This immediately shows that this is a film that will psychologically analyze the character. Similar to The Graduate, there are many shots at the beginning of the film that convey a feeling of isolation. Specifically, the shots in the office, or when the narrator is working, frame him as the only character in the frame and have a dreary gray color palette. This not only allows the audience to share the feelings the character has associated with insomnia, but it also shows how many workers feel within the consumerist culture of the drifting, self-questioning late 90s, a self-indulgent reverie, as Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian puts it. This gives context to the narrator's eventual rebellion against the cultural norm. The cinematography also highlights an important sub-theme that both films share: their rebellion is not without consequences. Both films eventually have their main characters go against the people that push them to rebel. Benjamin leaves Miss Robinson to pursue her daughter, Elaine, and Fight Club's unnamed narrator rejects Tyler Durden and tries to kill him after he realizes his methods of protest have gone too far. The film's endings actually ask the audience to decide whether the characters in the film made the right decision. Fight Club ends with a wide shot of the narrator and Martha, the woman he meets in the film, as they look out the window and watch the city crumble as a result of Project Mayhem. They achieve their goal, but are depicted as tiny in the frame of the shot, which makes the audience wonder if the rebellion was worth it for how alone they feel. The Graduate also ends with the main character alone with the woman he meets in the movie. After Benjamin crashes Elaine's wedding and escapes with her, they hop on a bus. At first this seems like a happy ending, but as John Brackman of The New Yorker writes, should the optimism of the ending be undercut by what we have already glimpsed of society? At this point, Benjamin still exists in a society that he feels is not for him and those of his generation. After they sit down, the camera lingers on the two of them as reality sets in. The bus takes them away and they know their life has changed, but the acting by Dustin Hoffman and Catherine Ross makes you wonder if they made the right choice. It feels like even they don't really know. Fight Club and The Graduate use much different sound design and scores through the films, but both are important tools by the director in conveying the type of rebellion each character is going through. Fight Club uses the song Where Is My Mind by the Pixies in its ending shot. This song is a chaotic and confusing feel, and it represents a state of mind in which you don't really know what is going on. This is connected to the narrator's state of mind at the end of the film. Using Where Is My Mind is a way to show that this isn't a happy ending, and that the narrator is left confused and perhaps unhappy. The Graduate's ending is regarded as one of the most iconic and influential of all time, and a large reason for that is the song choice, The Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel. Similar to Fight Club, this song is a clue that the ending of the film is not an entirely positive one. The opening line of the song is,
"Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again."
While previously triumphant after the wedding scene, this song shows how reality is setting in for Benjamin and Elaine. It's a sad song about someone returning to a dark place. The song makes the audience think about the entire journey of revolution Benjamin has taken throughout the film and what it has accomplished. Benjamin has broken up a family, hurt his parents, and more, all to end up on this bus, thinking about his future. The audience, along with Benjamin, wonders if he truly has returned to a state of darkness. In The Graduate, director Mike Nichols chose to use a score largely made of the acoustic folk rock music of Simon and Garfunkel. The choice to use this type of music for a film, revolutionary at the time, helps create the calm atmosphere of the film and illustrate how Benjamin represents a passive rebellion against the suburban upper-class culture of the 1960s. Using a genre of music outside the norm is representative of Benjamin's actions and how he differs from those older than him. Fight Club's fast-paced, electronic score by the Dust Brothers shows the type of rebellion that the narrator from Fight Club is going through. Unlike Benjamin in The Graduate, the narrator rebels against a consumerist, dull society violently and strongly. Fight Club is a film concerned chiefly with male anger. Lavinia Lane. The narrator and Tyler Durden create a fight club in Project Mayhem in order to do something completely different from what is socially acceptable and cause destruction towards those they deem responsible for the problems in society at the time. The exciting, gritty sound represents this rebellion and perfectly accompanies the dark, urban setting of the film. Just like the scores, differences in editing also differentiate the events of both films. Fight Club's editing is fast-paced and choppy, and cuts together a variety of different shots. An example of this is the opening scene, where the narrator talks about the explosions rigged to blow up the buildings next to them, and the camera quickly moves through the cityscape showing each element of the plan. Or, in a scene near the end of the film where the narrator is talking to Tyler Durden, the film depicts flashbacks by using extremely quick cuts, giving a jittery effect which not only places us into the disoriented mind of the narrator, but also shows the quick, violent revolution that the main character is taking part in that can eventually spiral out of control. The Graduate uses a completely different editing style. The film is known for its long takes and scenes without much action. For example, there's a scene in the second half of the film where Benjamin drives to a college to meet Elaine Robinson. The scene includes multiple wide shots of Benjamin driving on the highway that are held for a long time. Similar to the music, this editing represents the more passive cultural rebellion that Benjamin is taking part in. It also is representative of Benjamin's mental state. Just like in Fight Club, where the fast, choppy editing shows the narrator's fragmented state of mind, the long, slow editing of The Graduate shows how Benjamin feels lost and without purpose in his life. While often different in content, the two drama films Fight Club and The Graduate both serve as benchmarks for the shifting culture of the time period at which they were released. Similar themes are shown through a variety of film techniques, often used differently to show the differences in the type of cultural rebellion the films depict.